What is up, my friends? Welcome back into the podcast. Yet another episode of Crushing Fantasy Football. I am Bryce Lockridge, your host of the show. Guys, today I'm going to be talking about the Russell Wilson trade to the Denver Broncos. This is huge news for anyone that plays fantasy football because we know that the Denver Broncos have a lot of fantasy relevant players, and this changes the outlook of every single offensive player on the Broncos. So I'm going to get right into how this affects the fantasy outlook for every single player on the team, and I'm going to get right into it, guys. But real quick, if you have not already, go down and hit that subscribe button below. That's huge for me growing my channel, and if you do enjoy my content today, give me that like. All right, guys, I am going to get right into the pass catchers for the Denver Broncos. As we know, there are a ton of pass catching weapons on the Broncos, and I'm going to start with the wide receiver one on the depth chart, Jerry Judy. Guys, Jerry Judy is going to be the target hog for the team this year. It is almost certain that he is going to lead the team in overall target share. He is going to be lining up in the slot. He's going to be lining up outside. They're probably going to use him on some jet sweeps and some run plays. He is going to be heavily utilized in this offense. So the volume is going to be there. And now his upside is even higher with Russell Wilson as his quarterback because he's naturally going to have higher touchdown upside due to being in what's going to be a way better offense when they are led by a better quarterback. So his touchdown upside is there. He's going to get high-value touches. He's going to get a lot of volume. He's going to line up in the slot. He's going to line up outside. He's going to run the ball. This dude is going to do everything for this team. He's a first-round draft pick for a reason. He's the number one wide receiver on the team as far as the depth chart is concerned. And I think that volume plus talent plus opportunity plus being in what's going to be a very high-scoring offense is going to make this dude a dynamic fantasy weapon this year. And he's probably going to be a little bit underdrafted because he hasn't really done anything fantasy-wise yet since being in the league. But look, he's been hurt a lot. He had Teddy Bridgewater as his quarterback. You can't really rely on that for consistent fantasy production. So people really only remember the last thing they saw. The last thing they saw was Jerry Judy wasn't that great for fantasy, but that's going to change significantly this year. He's going to be underdrafted. I see him going somewhere around the 4th or 5th round. I would draft this dude as early as the 4th round because I think he's going to be that good for fantasy. So, he's going to be underdrafted and he's going to be a great value in the draft. So draft Jerry Judy. Next, I want to talk about Courtland Sutton. Okay, Courtland Sutton's upside just shot through the roof. Okay, we know that Russell Wilson's a great deep ball thrower. Courtland Sutton's going to be lining up on the outside almost always. He's got the 6'4" alpha male build. And so, look, Courtland Sutton is going to eat in this offense with Russell Wilson. I mean, it's plain and simple. He's a wide receiver 2 on the depth chart. He's not going to receive as many targets as Jerry Judy. But with only 5 or 6 targets a game, he can absolutely dominate with Russell Wilson as his quarterback. This dude is going to give you week winning performances in at least 4 or 5 weeks in the 2022 season. I mean, we saw Tyler Lockett and Russell Wilson do this. They would have weeks where Tyler Lockett would have 150, 200 yards, multiple touchdowns, and win you a week single-handedly. Courtland Sutton is now going to be that guy, okay? And he is bigger than Tyler Lockett and more of an alpha male wide receiver at 6'4". So I think that he has even higher upside than Tyler Lockett did in that Seahawks offense, meaning Courtland Sutton is going to give you week-winning performances. Now, this isn't going to happen every week, and he's going to have weeks where he busts because there's just so many mouths to feed in Denver, and Jerry Judy is going to be taking up a lot of the targets, and there's just so many pass catchers that they have to throw the ball to. And so, Courtland Sutton is going to have weeks where he busts, but he's also going to have weeks where he wins you your week single-handedly. And I think that he's going to be an absolute monster as far as fantasy football is concerned this year. And despite having weeks where he busts, his overall accumulation of fantasy points could exceed Jerry Judy's just because he has so many. He's going to have a lot of really big weeks where he has, 150 yards, multiple touchdowns, stuff like that. I'm telling you, this dude is going to be a fantasy monster this year. Next, I want to talk about Tim Patrick, okay? Tim Patrick is definitely going to be boom or bust. He's going to be lining up on the outside almost always. And look, he's a good deep ball catcher, and Russell Wilson is a good deep ball thrower. So there's going to be weeks where Tim Patrick has big fantasy performances, but you can't really rely on him for any sort of consistency just because he's the 3rd wide receiver on the depth chart. And he's just not going to be as consistent as Courtland Sutton or Jerry Judy, but he's still going to have weeks where he's going to be very good. The problem is you're going to be guessing as to what weeks he's going to go off, and you don't really want to guess in fantasy. You want more guaranteed production, and you want to eliminate as much risk as possible. And Tim Patrick is going to be a risk just because there's just so many mouths to feed, and he's the number 3 option. Next, I want to talk about Noah Fant. Noah Fant is definitely going to receive a slight upgrade from what he was last year. I see him being somewhere around tight end, probably tight end 6, somewhere around there. There's definitely tight ends that I would draft ahead of him, but his fantasy stock has definitely gone up now that Russell Wilson is his quarterback. Talking about the Denver Broncos backfield. Okay, look, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams are still both on the team. We know that Melvin Gordon is a free agent. He's a little bit older now, but the Denver Broncos really like Melvin Gordon. He ran very efficiently for them last year. But with the signing of Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos have less cap space now, and I just don't see them signing Melvin Gordon to another contract because it just doesn't really make sense. I mean, they have Javonte Williams to lead the backfield. He could easily be the workhorse back for the team and give awesome production for the Broncos out of the backfield. And so paying another running back to split carries with Javonte Williams, considering they have less cap space after signing Russell Wilson, just doesn't make sense. I still think that it's very likely that the Denver Broncos are going to probably not have Melvin Gordon on their team next year. I mean, it's obviously possible, but I highly, highly doubt it, especially after them paying Russell Wilson a lot of money. So it's probably going to be a backfield led by Javonte Williams. And what this means now, guys, for Javonte Williams is that he has the potential, if Melvin Gordon isn't on the team, to be the number 1 running back in fantasy football. Yes, the running back 1. I was saying a few weeks ago that he has potential to be a top 3 running back in football, and that was before they signed Russell Wilson. Now that the offense is going to be even more efficient, he's going to have significantly higher touchdown upside, and he's going to get a lot of volume, probably 20-plus carries a game. I think he has the potential to be the running back 1 in fantasy football this year. And that's if Melvin Gordon isn't on the team, obviously. So if you take Javonte Williams as the number 1 running back off the board, that's not a bad idea. I think he has tremendously high upside in this offense now that Russell Wilson is the quarterback. He's got talent. He's going to get a lot of high-value touches. He's going to get in the end zone like crazy because, guys, this offense is going to score a ton of points. This might even be the best offense in the league next year, which that could be a little bit of a stretch, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. This could be the best offense in football with Russell Wilson on the team. Javonte Williams is going to eat in this offense. So you want to draft this dude, I'm telling you guys. Okay, now, as far as Russell Wilson's overall fantasy outlook, as far as his own fantasy output, guys, Russell Wilson is going to go off in this offense. He has more passing weapons in this offense than he's ever had in his entire career. I mean, you've got 3 great wide receivers. You've got a great pass-catching tight end. You've got either 2 dynamic running backs in the backfield or 1 dynamic running back in the backfield. I mean, this offense is absolutely loaded. Russell Wilson has more weapons to work with than he ever has, and I think he has the potential to certainly be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL this year as far as fantasy output is concerned. And I would even say that he has the upside to be the quarterback 1. It's hard to say that with quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but it's not it's not out of the question for Russell Wilson to be the number 1 quarterback in fantasy this year. So draft Russell Wilson. Okay, guys, this is just kind of my breakdown on how the overall outlook is for all of the fantasy relevant players on the Broncos. Let me know what you think, what you agree on, don't agree on, in the comments below. And I hope this video kind of helped clear up how the fantasy outlook has changed for every single one of these players. I appreciate you tuning into the video today, guys, and I will catch you later.